At 10, Attorney General Dana Nessel announces charges against dozens of false electors for their roles in the alleged 2020 election scheme. And two of those people are from West Michigan. Our Jamie Sherrod joins us now with the story. And Jamie, there's people in leadership roles involved in these allegations.
Yeah, Josh, that's right. 3 years later, and 16 people have now been charged in that election scheme, including Wyoming Mayor Kent Vanderwood and Rose Rook from Paw Paw.
They carried out these actions with the hope and belief that the electoral votes of Michigan's 2020 election would be awarded to the candidate of their choosing instead of the candidate that Michigan voters actually chose.
Attorney General Dana Nessel announcing charges Tuesday against 16 Michigan residents for the alleged role they played in interfering with the 2020 election. She says they met in the basement of a Republican Party headquarters on December 14th and signed their names on multiple certificates stating they were the duly elected and qualified electors for the President and Vice President of the United States of America for the state of Michigan. Those false documents were then used towards the state's electoral votes instead of the candidates actually elected by the people of Michigan. Wyoming Mayor Kent Vanderwood and 81-year-old Rose Rook from Paw Paw are both listed as alleged false electors in the scheme. We reached out to them and other local electors about the charges.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system,
but didn't get a response. The city of Wyoming did provide a comment on the mayor's involvement, saying we are aware of the charges against Kent Vanderwood. These actions did not take place in his capacity as a city official. With any charges, there is a legal process that needs to be followed. All 16 defendants face the same charges, including conspiracy to commit forgery, and election law forgery, among others.
Since World War II, we've never had an election like this where there's been a consistent and almost comprehensive attack on our electoral system at the state level and on the U.S. Capitol itself.
Michael McDaniel is a professor of constitutional law at Western Michigan University's Cooley Law School. He says the announced charges came as a surprise, but was a necessary move by the Attorney General to maintain our state's electoral process.
5.5 million Michigan voters, 5.5 Michigan citizens came out and voted in the 2020 presidential election. But really, as the people's lawyer in the state of Michigan, Attorney General Dana Nessel had an absolute duty to bring these charges.
Blake Mazurik was an elector in the 3rd Congressional District in Kent County for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020.
I feel like what we're witnessing here is we're moving towards accountability. And as you know, myself and two other electors, we have filed a civil suit against these very same 16 spurious electors with very similar charges, essentially that these folks committed election fraud. So this is a big step in bringing accountability.
In a statement, House Republican leader Matt Hill says in part, the charges brought by Attorney General Nessel are serious. She bears the burden of proving them in a court of law and demonstrating that they are not politically motivated.
But I don't see this going outside the state of Michigan. I think Attorney General Nessel is being very certain to limit this to actions which occurred in the state of Michigan, which involved and disrupted the Michigan electoral process.
The investigation is still ongoing. Each person charged will have individual arraignments and could face a maximum of 85 years in prison.
All right, so we know that they have a criminal process to play out and potentially a civil one as well. I'm left wondering if there's a precedent for something like this, and especially on this scale.
Right, and as you heard Professor McDaniel mention, this is something that we have not seen happen since World War II, which was more than 80 years ago. So the fact that this has happened now is a big deal, and the fact that there are actually charges now is a big deal as well.
We'll see where it goes. Jamie, thank you.